Hey guys, so we're a little less than 1 week out, a little more than 1 week out from the what's the name of this?
It's One Voice, One Play, One Day. And it's a project that is put on by Project One Voice. And Excellence Happens is actually one of many production companies and theaters and community schools and hospitals across the nation that puts on this event.
Now this is not your first time doing one of these projects. You had Colored Museum.
Yes.
You had Four Colored Girls. Mm-hmm. What was it? Home,
and also we did our very first show that we did actually was not to be confused with Four Colored Girls. We also did our very first show was the number four Colored Girls, and which was a show that celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Movement. And that show was so heartbreaking and so wonderful. It was about the four little girls. It was called the Four Little Girls who perished in the 16th Street Baptist Church fire in 1963. We should have a fancy emblem.
I should actually have an Excellence Happens logo on here to show people. Bam! Excellence Happens. Just imagine it's right here. So, all right. So you've put together this amazing cast of actors.
Yes.
For this production, for this one-night staged reading, which will be done at Mineral Valley Theater on June 18th.
Yes.
Which is the third Monday of the month, which is when they celebrate Juneteenth here. And
actually, Juneteenth is actually celebrated on June 19th of each year. And
so we're 1 day off.
We're 1 day off, and actually, it happens. But what's really exciting is this year, Hawaii, Honolulu is going all out for Juneteenth. So all weekend long, there's something going on for Juneteenth.
So what is Juneteenth for those who don't know?
Juneteenth is the celebration of the freedom of the slaves, but it's not the celebration of the Emancipation Proclamation. It's actually two different things. It's actually the celebration of when Texas freed the slaves. They were a couple of years late. They were a couple of years off. But, they just kind of, they kind of didn't know that the slaves are free. So we celebrate each year Juneteenth. It's mostly celebrated in the South, but this year, because of tensions are really high this year, so more and more people are celebrating Juneteenth, which is exciting, and it brings hope because we're reminded of the fact that so many people sacrificed so much. They struggled so much so that we now can live free, and we are reminded of why we must continue to fight for our freedom today.
And this year we're doing Flying West.
Yes.
Which is about Nicodemus, Kansas.
Nicodemus, Kansas.
What is Nicodemus, Kansas?
Nicodemus, Kansas is a small town in Kansas, and it's an all-black town. And it is now the only all-black town. There were other all-black towns that were developed in the 19th century. And this all-black town was developed during the Homestead Act. And the Homestead Act was Homestead Act was developed, I believe, 1863, and it was developed because they wanted the West to be more developed, and they wanted to encourage more people to move out to the West. So they opened up a great deal of land to anyone to buy, and that gave opportunity to blacks, to immigrants, and to single women, because before, women could not own land unless they were married, and then their husbands owned the land, and they had to wait till their husbands died before they can own the land. But now at that point, blacks could own land right straight out instead of having to wait as sharecroppers to wait until the owners passed away and passed down the land to them. And women could own land, immigrants now could own land. So it was a great opportunity for a great deal of people. So that's when lots of people migrated to the Great Plains. It was a tough time because these people did not know how to develop raw land. They also had to deal with the Indians. However, blacks, when they were developing this fresh land, they had already been through a lot. These were freed slaves So as freed slave, they went through so much already. Yeah. So they thrived because of their strength, because of their tenacity. And this play is such a great play for anyone and everyone to see, because of the fact that it reminds us that, yeah, we are angry about what happened during slavery times, but we are reminded of the tenacity of the slaves. We're reminded of the endurance. We're reminded of what these people went through, and they took that and moved forward. They didn't sit in their anger. They took that and decided to leave a legacy for all the rest of us. And that is something that I want people to walk away with when they see this play. These women and men, they took their struggles and said, okay, we need to make life better for the generations after us. And we, as the generations now, need to look back at that and say, hey, yeah, now we need to take that legacy they gave us, build upon that, continue to fight so that the generations after us has something, rather than us just being angry. We need to take that anger and do something productive with it. We need to be proud of what was left behind for us. And with that, then we're able to find the hope that we feel we've lost.
And Nicodemus still exists to this day. This town is still there. It's still thriving. There are still descendants of those who originated, who founded the town. They're still there, correct? Still
yes, actually, I've been working with one of the descendants of the settlers. Her name is Angela Bates. Angela Bates is the historian of the town. She's an author, a playwright, and she's actually have helped production companies like Disney with their with certain things they've worked on for the West. She's helped them with fact checking. She also helped when HBO did a story on Buffalo Soldiers. She's a historian she wrote several books about Buffalo Soldiers. She helped HBO with their movie
research and all that
about Buffalo Soldiers. So I've been working directly with her, and nice. She lives in Nicodemus, Kansas. A lot of the football players we know and love today came from Nicodemus, Kansas. And in fact, when Obama first won presidency, there was a big to-do about a 106-year-old lady who voted for Obama. She was in Nicodemus, Kansas. She voted in Nicodemus, Kansas. So the town is still there. They don't have a lot of people. However, it's still thriving. It became a historical landmark. The
entire town is a historical landmark.
The entire town is an historical landmark. And many people come there, especially people from Europe. She was saying that people from France came by there at one point. So it's a tourist site, which is really exciting. Our producer from New York, he went there a couple of weeks ago, and it's just an exciting thing. Just talking with her excites me because I was born and raised in Kansas. And
a little known fact about
little known fact, and I don't talk about that much because until now I was not proud about being from Kansas. I kept that a secret as much as I could. But knowing about the Nicodemus, Kansas, and most people don't know about the history.
I'd never heard of it prior to this.
Right, most people don't know about Nicodemus, Kansas, and it's because it's not in the history books. And I'm from Kansas, and we study Kansas history. The most they talked about Nicodemus, Kansas was that it was an all-black town. And they made quilts that they put in our university. That's about it. And just speaking with Angela and doing the research I've been doing, I'm learning so much about not just Nicodemus, Kansas, but the history about Kansas as a whole. Another little known fact about me is that my mother's family, her grandparents were part of the group that started the first black church in Kansas. They started that in 1878. So Nicodemus, Kansas was built up in 1877. Calvary Church was built in 1878. So that church was built in Wichita, and they often went down to Nicodemus, Kansas to to preach to the folks in Nicodemus, and the folks at Nicodemus would travel to Wichita for church there. And when I told Angela this, she told me that she heard stories about Reverend Williams, which was my mother's great uncle. So it's really exciting to know more about my personal history.
Your people. Your past.
Right. And knowing that these people made their sacrifices to go to Kansas, and eventually their sacrifices led to me being here right now discussing with you about this play that I am producing. Because without their sacrifices, this would not be happening.
So the show is on June 18th. It's at 7:30 at the Manoa Valley Theater. What is the show about?
The show is about it's about women who are pioneers of Nicodemus, Kansas. It's actually set in the late 1800s and in early 1890s, and it's about these sisters who are trying to build up Nicodemus, Kansas. And it's really about their story. It's focused on their story, and it's a beautiful story. And what's really great about this story, it's focused on their strength. So it's not only a great story for African Americans, it's a great story for women. With the Me Too movement right now and the Time's Up movement, I really encourage women of all races to come see this, because of the fact that it really focuses on the strength of women of the 19th century. And that's something that we ignore, that history books ignore. They ignore the pioneer women. The pioneer women of all cultures. They were strong women, and they had to be, because they homesteaded their own land. And in order to survive, they had to be strong. And the women were strong. And this play features that.
Nice. And it's a small cast. This is a reader's theater, so we shouldn't expect to see sets and costumes and all that, but we have a narrator,
yes,
who's telling the story. We have the actors on stage, script in hand, but just giving us all the raw emotion of the show without the big fancy sets and lights and everything.
Right. And reader's theater I feel is a lot more challenging, because they don't have the luxury. Yeah, they don't have the luxury of lights and sound and sets and everything. They have to give everything to the audience themselves.
Just their words.
And it's a lot more challenging, but the experience is a lot more rewarding.
Nice. And the show, so for those who are thinking of, they want to come by, they want to come see it, you can buy your tickets 988-6131. You can go to excellencehappens.com. You can go to manoavalleytheater.com. How long is the show running? Like, what is the running
The show is about 90 minutes long, and that's including intermission.
90 minutes. Get an intermission break. Go outside. Have a drink. Process what you've seen, what you've heard, and then come back for second act.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the cast?
Oh, the cast is fabulous. We have our narrator is Nikki Guess. This will be, I believe, the third or fourth show she's done with me. She was with me from the very first show that I worked on. She's a fantastic actress. She's a great character actress. The narrator.
Great dancer. Does she get to dance in the show?
No, she doesn't.
Oh,
Nikki Guess, many people might recognize her from being the first beat girl on this island. She's a wonderful dancer and a great person. And the narrator really, she sets the pace for the show. And then our ensemble cast is Barbara Harvey, and she plays Sophie. We have Tony Jameson. She plays Miss Leah. Miss Leah is the oldest character in the show. Then we have Marianne Shirley Grave. I'm drawing blanks. I'm getting old. That's my excuse. And she's actually best known as being a fantastic stage manager at TAG, and working backstage at Manoa Valley Theater, but she is a fabulous actress, and I think people will be very surprised. She actually did a show at TAG several years back, and that's when I first saw her talent, and I've always wanted to work with her. She did our show, Colored Museum. I didn't get a chance to direct her, and which I was sad about that. Someone else did, so I wanted the privilege to get to direct her. And we have Derek Brown. People know him from many TAG shows. He's a fantastic actor. This will be a different kind of character people are used to seeing him in. I think he's going to blow people's mind. At Manoa Valley Theater, he did Smokey Joe's fantastic singing voice, but most people probably know him from different shows at TAG Theater. And then we have Shervale, and I cannot pronounce her last name.
It's can never pronounce her last name.
Italian last name, Burgos. I totally botched it. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful actress. I first met her when she auditioned for me for Colored Museum, and I got a chance to direct her then, and you get your chance again. And I get a chance again. She also did intimate apparel with me with Troy Apostle, which was amazing to work with her. And she's a beautiful, beautiful actress. You also might know her from the Diamond Head show Ragtime. And finally, we have Des. How do you pronounce his last name?
Is it Gila or Gia?
Gia. I'm sorry, Des. Des Gia.
Desmond.
He's all over the place. Just about every theater he's performed in. Some of you guys might best know him from the McDonald's commercial where they're looking at art. But he's a fantastic actor.
I saw him the other day at was it at the theater right before the movie? He, I think, had one of the ads. Was that him? No, maybe it wasn't him. I see him so many places now. It's hard to see.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Isn't it?
Right. He's everywhere. He's a film actor. He's a theater actor. And also what's really exciting is that he finished filming and editing and it's going to come out soon. His first film that he wrote, produced, and starring in, and I'm really excited to see that movie. So we have a great cast. And they're working very hard on this cast. And I got to give a shout out to my production and stage manager, Mr. Eric Steinwan, and he has a new last name that I can't pronounce.
Really? Godoy?
Godoy.
That's the hard one to pronounce. And she's mastered. Godoy, she's like, I can't.
Well,
it's too many letters. It's 5 letters.
And he's fantastic. Anyone who's ever worked with him, we know. And which is why I always, snatch him up. He can do anything and everything. Me. So, and everyone works very hard on these projects. People will think, oh, it's just Reader's Theater, super easy. However, when you do a Project One Voice project, there's something so much more than reading a script. There's a message that we want to embody and share.
It's not just a fluff piece.
Right, it's not a fluff piece. It's a special gift that was given to us that we want to share with all of you. And I hope that you come to the theater and accept our gift, because it's a beautiful gift and we would love for you to have it.
So again, it's one day only, June 18th, 7:30 at Manoa Valley Theater. Go to excellencehappens.com, click on their link to get tickets. Go to manoavalleytheater.com, click on their link to get tickets. Call us up at the box office, 988-6131, or come down Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 5, but get those tickets. It's a limited seat for this show. We only seat 130 people on this one, and you only have one night to see it. After that, it's done.
Done.
$25 if you buy your pre-sale tickets, $30 if you buy at the door. So don't wait. Yeah. Buy those tickets now.
And proceeds goes to Manoa Valley Theater. So you're not only going to
usher in our 50th season here.
Yeah. And so you're not only seeing a great show, but you are giving back to the arts and you're giving back to your community.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you for teaching us about Nicodemus, and we will see you on June 18th.
Yeah.